I'm back in my forest after a bit of a long break because of the rain. We've had rain for 2 weeks, so I'm in the forest in Tel Aviv. I'm Brian of London. We now can see exactly what the BBC are going to do with the Darren Osborne terror case, how they want to use it, their whole way of talking about it. It's the whole press. The BBC, of course, leads the UK. The Independent, all the others, they follow along, but the BBC they are desperate for a story of far-right radicalization. A far-right radicalization to mirror. They need something to mirror the Muslim Islamic radicalization. So they must have the ability to blow up this massive far-right threat and make it out into something that is huge and everyone needs to worry about, and so they can always have a balance. So they'll never be able to mention, you'll watch this now, they will never be able to mention another Islamic terror attack anywhere in the world without referring to this one ex-alcoholic or functioning alcoholic, whatever the hell a functioning alcoholic, Darren Osborne, who has been convicted of murder and attempted murder for horribly driving his van into a crowd of Muslims outside a mosque, which every sane person, Tommy Robinson included, not just Tommy Robinson included, but Tommy Robinson leads the pack in saying you are a wanker if you take out aggression on innocent Muslims. You are an idiot if you go and vandalize a mosque or leave pork outside. He's always been clear on that. He's made dozens of videos in which he says that. He says that at the end of many videos. No, the BBC won't do that. So they had him on Newsnight last night. And the angle they're going for, and this was in the BBC News interview that they recorded before, you could see this in the way they were going. They want to make him feel, they want to get an admission from him of guilt, that he is preaching hate, that the hate leads to Darren Osborne driving a truck. Never mind the fact that his videos are viewed literally by millions of people. We know the numbers. Millions of people are not driving their trucks into crowds of Muslims in England. It is an incredibly rare event, and I hope it will continue to be an incredibly rare or non-existent event. People mustn't do that. But the BBC line, and this is the deconstruction, is they must create mirror. So we have massive Islamic radicalization, and then what are the causes of radicalization? Suddenly, 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks before he committed the act, this man was radicalized by a few tweets and then a couple of email messages that I received and a million other people received. No, they will not bring into it that he was radicalized by decades. It's decades. When was 7/7? When was 9/11? It's 20 years almost since 9/11. And even before 9/11, Islam has been a constant drumbeat in everybody's life. Back to the terrorism of the 60s and 70s, the Palestinians taking over airplanes, taking off our shoes. It's all of that has been through everybody's life. The point is, people are waking up suddenly, and they are getting off the BBC line, and they're not believing. Another point that she brought up in Newsnight last night against Tommy Robinson, is this thing of the Al-Quds Day March. Nobody knows about the Al-Quds Day March. It's obscure. It's been going on for years. It is an anti-Israel march. It's an anti-Jewish march. It is the Iranian-backed supporters of Hezbollah, who are a terrorist organization, marching in the streets of London. There's like a cute little wordplay that suddenly the British have decided that there's a political and a military wing of Hezbollah, even though Hezbollah doesn't recognize that. That march is not well known in the UK. Why is it not well known that terrorists march on the streets of London calling death to the Jews? Because the BBC don't cover it, because they don't want to show it. Tommy Robinson mentions it, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly he is a causal factor, according to the BBC. Now, she was also... the interviewer on the Newsnight was trying to say that Darren Osborne had written about tweets of Tommy Robinson. Darren Osborne wrote a letter. I haven't seen the letter because the news media don't print the letter in its entirety, and I don't trust what the news media say is in the letter. I need to see the letter myself because I have lost all trust in the reporting of the mainstream media. And that's the reason people are going to watch Tommy's videos. They've lost trust in the BBC. After a huge number of children are blown up in Manchester, and they don't understand, the media doesn't understand that people are interested in more information than they get of just let's all hug and say and be nice to each other now, and it's not hashtag not all Muslims. They need more information. Why are people doing this? Have you looked at the Quran, the BBC? Have you read the Quran? Have you read the life of Muhammad? Have you read the Hadith? No. And you won't admit that those are causal reasons why people, Muslims, become terrorists. It's in the Quran. A few emails from Tommy Robinson and a few tweets from Tommy Robinson telling the truth that you, the BBC, won't tell, that is not the reason to murder. Tommy Robinson for years has spoken to stop any kind of violence. The EDL marches back in the day were a good let-off steam event. The violence only came if the what we now call Antifa, but back in the day, Hope Not Hate and some of the other crowd came. Then the EDL marches, there would be a fight, because these were young, testosterone-fueled men. If you fight them, they'll fight back. But the point was to bring it back into a political realm, because a demonstration, even a street demonstration, this is a political act. Killing people outside a mosque, murdering people, that is not a political act. That is never, ever what we want in our societies. That's not the way we answer these things. That's how the Muslims do it. We don't do that. Tommy Robinson's clear on that, but the BBC try to paint him as the instigator, and that is evil. That's evil, and that's what the BBC are doing, and it's going to backfire each time. Each time they do it, it's going down and down and down. The trust is not there, and they'll lose. Anyway, that's enough for this morning. It's time for me to have my culturally appropriated little black Italian coffee in a forest. I'm in a forest in the middle of Tel Aviv. I'm in Israel. My name is Brian of London, for long and complicated reasons, and it's Shabbat tonight. Shabbat Shalom to all my Jewish friends, and all the people are joining now. Did I suddenly get a retweet? Anyway, you'll have to go back and watch the replay. Basically, BBC, they want to point out that Tommy Robinson is the reason for all of the violence in the world. They need a mirror. They're creating a mirror for what... they're trying to create a mirror between radical Islam and the far right. And they've got the only example they've got of far right is this arsehole Darren Osborne, who's just doing a horrible act. And they're going to try and paint this as an equivalent. They always want equivalency. So literally hundreds of people are maimed, injured and murdered in 3 terrorist attacks, and that's not something that would drive a man to do a stupid act. But 2 tweets and 2 email messages is. That's the line of the BBC. That is, you can see it's totally transparent in all they've done. The whole media is doing it. BBC obviously is very, very important in the UK and leads the charge on this. And that line of equivalency, I heard it in every broadcast that they did. And when they do that, when they come with this equivalency, it is only because they're completely out of ideas. They have no language left to talk about what they call Islamic radicalization. They can't talk about it because in the end, as many hate preachers as there are, every single one of them, all they have to do to preach hate is read the Quran out in public in the UK. That's the hate speech. Whereas Tommy's writing emails about silent protests or tweets showing that even after the Manchester terror attack, there was no day of rage. That's what his tweet was about, and they twist it. And they lie on the BBC. They lie that this was in Darren Osborne's letter. They don't show you Darren Osborne's complete letter. What's in his letter? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a facsimile of it. It must be there. It can be reported. It's in the court proceedings. Where's the letter? No. We have to hear what the press say is in the letter, and I don't believe them. I don't believe them. Nobody should. So the entire link of bringing in Tommy and even Jada, there was, to say, and for the prosecution, is what they're reporting is that the prosecution said that this link was only done 4 weeks. This thing snapped in his head 4 weeks before he committed the act. That doesn't ring true. As I said, we've been dealing with this. 9/11 was the wake-up moment for many people in the West. Islamic terrorism, especially against Israelis and Jews here in Israel, that's been going on since, a century or more. But the wake-up moment for the West, 9/11, then you had 7/7 in the UK, the Madrid bombings. It's been going on for 15, 20 years. And to say that this man only got it 4 weeks ago because of a tweet Tommy Robinson sent, that's the stitch-up. That's the BBC. You're paying the licence fee. I am called Brian of London, but I left England 9 years ago. One of the happiest days of my life was the day that I went online and cancelled my direct debit subscription for the biased BBC and closed them down. Now I pirate it with VPNs if I have to watch damn Newsnight to see Tommy on. The BBC is losing control of the plot. The interview that Tommy recorded with the BBC journalist, when it's going to get cut with the bits that they used and probably cut with that interview from Newsnight, it's devastating stuff. And it'll go out on Facebook, it'll get hundreds of thousands of views quite quickly, it'll go onto YouTube, millions of views. People are waking up to this. And waking up doesn't mean you go out and get a van and drive into a crowd of Muslims, because the very vast majority of people in Britain will not do that, because you haven't been brought up with hatred. You haven't been brought up to regard Muslims as inferior people in and of themselves. You don't dehumanize them. You can view their ideology as evil and cruel and barbaric, and the ideology is all those things. But you also wind up viewing the Muslims as victims of it too. And some of them get out. That's why I always look to the ex-Muslims. I look to Rahim Kassam and Ibn Warraq is the guy whose book I first read on this stuff. Amazing people who have left Islam because they know how poisonous it is. And to try and paint Tommy Robinson waking people up as an equivalent to preachers of hate reading, I have been ordered to fight all men until they say there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. Until they're making an equivalence between a hate preacher standing in a mosque saying that and Tommy Robinson sending out a tweet saying come on a silent march, or we don't have days of rage after our children are blown up in Manchester. To make that false equivalence is evil. It's evil from the BBC. It's their agenda. It's their agenda to control you, suppress you, keep you from saying what is going on in our society and why are we bringing in more of this. That's what they're doing. Anyway, wow, I've done this thing twice now in one stream. It's Friday, Shabbat. Tonight, I'm in the forest in Tel Aviv. I'm Brian of London. I moved to Israel 9 years ago. I still have a lot of love in my heart for England, and for Britain and England, and I hope you pull back from the abyss that the BBC is trying to shove you in. Okay? Please try. Deal with Islam properly. Face it down. Be strong. Don't accept that ideology into your societies. Don't give it the respect that it demands, because it doesn't deserve respect. The ideology is not one to be respected. All right, thanks all. Catch you later. Bye.